usually don't ever do that, but you're persistent, so.
Here's the truth, guys. The same girls who look innocent and say that they're good girls are doing things you never believe with certain guys. And it's usually not because of the guy's looks or money. It's because those guys understand certain things that you don't. See, some of the hottest, most innocent girls have been taught one thing their whole life: to suppress their sexual desires because it's wrong to express them. But they still want sex. As a guy, you just need to know the triggers that will make girls want to express that sexual side with you. And I'm gonna share these triggers with you. When you master these, girls that you thought were innocent or good girls are gonna start doing things that you'd never expect. The first trigger is sexual authority. So what this means is that a girl needs to look at you and be like, this guy knows what he's doing. There are some older males who have a lot of sexual experience that might enjoy the idea of fucking a younger, innocent guy, but girls who have their sexuality repressed, girls who are virgins, girls who are shy, they want a guy who knows what he's doing, right? But if you just go up to a girl and say, hey, I'm good in bed, she's gonna think the exact opposite. She's gonna think this guy is fucking horrible in bed. So you have to show that a lot more subtly. Let me show you guys an infield example of how to show sexual authority with the guy that I think does this the best, Marcus Wolf from Ultimate Man Project. Take a look.
Hi.
So look at me. I think, like when I first saw you.
I'm a stoner.
No.
I'm a stoner.
No, I think you like dominant guys.
Dominant?
Yeah, that's still like not aggressive, right? I think you like a guy that's not like a pussy, it's not like a shove over, that's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're like a strong
Where are
guy.
you from?
Australia.
I like that a lot.
Where are you from? Indiana?
Indiana. Yeah.
So here he's showing sexual authority by basically guessing what she's into, which is honestly called a truism because basically every single girl is gonna be into a dominant guy, right? It's a little bit of a trick, but it works well. It shows that he has sexual authority. Also, more importantly, I want you guys to pay attention to the way he talks, how he communicates. He's very calm. He's very grounded. He speaks with purpose, right? That's gonna communicate much more than anything you can say verbally and explicitly, right? So this is a really good example. You don't need to be super explicit about it. You just need to be confident, assertive, and dominant, and girls are gonna think you have sexual authority, especially when you talk about anything sex related. And ultimately, he winds up pulling this chick back to his hotel room. If you guys wanna see the full infield, it's on this channel. Also, let me show you guys some text conversations that are also gonna show you what sexual authority looks like over texting. So let's take a look at the first one, right? So this is a conversation that one of my students had. And so he's talking to the girl and she opens him because she likes his bio. She's like, all right, I'm intrigued. Give me the breakdown. So here he goes. I can tell in your everyday life you can be tough, a little assertive. I bet a lot of guys can't handle your bold personality, but what we really desire is a guy who can put you in your place and help you explore your feminine side, right? Again, this is something that's going to apply to the majority of girls. Okay, wait, too real. How do you do that? It's just one of my many skills. Being a dom, there's many subtle cues I can pick up on. Right? Notice how he throws in that he's a dom kind of subtly in there. He's not like, by the way, you know I'm a dom? That would be a little cringe and try hard. You have to be subtle when communicating sexual authority. Oh, finally, I've been looking for you. I bet you have. Do you feel like you've been able to explore your submissive side at all in the past? She says, no, unfortunately, you're right about people not being able to handle me. I've had people say they are doms and completely betraying the trust that should be there, and also people not being able to back up their claims. I feel very unfulfilled. And this is the majority of girls. The majority of girls who are single feel sexually unfulfilled. Even a lot of girls in relationships are probably going to say the same thing. He says, sorry to hear that. I've heard similar stories before, unfortunately. A true dom knows that his sub's comfort and pleasure comes first. Tell me, what are your kings, turns-ons, and fantasies? And honestly, what he's doing, he's asking a lot of good questions. And then basically when she gives her answer, he's kind of reinforcing that, showing that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to sex. She's like, that's comforting to hear. I like to please. I also like to be teased. My fantasies are a tad wild. Blah, blah, blah. And she goes on and on. And he winds up meeting up with this girl shortly after. You can see the screenshots here. Basically, she winds up, I think, coming over, and then he winds up hooking up with her. Literally, that same day. Right? And the reason he was able to do that, because I'm sure she was talking to many other guys, is because he showed sexual authority with the way he was texting her. Trigger number 2, being non-judgmental. So this is crucial. The girl needs to know that you're not going to judge her or you're not going to shame her if she's sexual with you, because that's what most guys do. They might not do it super consciously. It might be subconscious remarks that they make, right? But a lot of girls have been slut shamed to various levels, especially girls who live outside of Western countries like Eastern Europe, Asia, Latin America to some extent. There's a lot of slut shaming there, right? So you have to show that you're not one of those guys that's going to judge. Let me show you guys a good infield example of this so you can see how it's done. And this is something you can do when you're on a date with a girl to kind of preempt any, future concerns that she might have when you're ready to pull her.
My friends here, they want to have fun. Like you said, right? I want to have fun, like they want to be cool. But the problem is they're so worried about being judged by everybody, right? They're worried about what their friends think, what the boy thinks. It's like crazy. It's crazy.
No, guys, don't. I don't know. It's us girls. We are worried that we'll be judged because we're girls. We're not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're worried the guy will judge you, is what I said. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's so dumb. Like,
and notice the girls kind of just agree completely, and most girls will agree that it's like, yeah, guys are judgmental. How am I supposed to be sexual if a guy's going to judge me afterwards? That's going to make me want to close my legs, not the opposite, if you guys want to have a juicy little visual image right there. So I think that it's important to show the girl not judgmental. There's a passive way of doing it where you just basically are not judgmental, right? And she realizes over time. Or you can do what Marcus does here, which is a very smart technique, I would say kind of advanced level, where you basically, before you even go to pull the girl, you kind of tell her a story, you express to her in some way. It should feel natural in the conversation, but you're not judgmental. You don't judge women for expressing their sexuality. And I do this pretty often on dates too. Now, let me show you how this can be done over text. This is one of my examples, a girl I wound up hooking up with a few times. She's actually in one of my videos. See if you can guess which one. So we had a date set up and she messages me, hey, I think we should reschedule with everything going on. I don't feel comfortable driving down to Miami with everything being closed. So this was during COVID. And I don't want to just go to your place the first meet. Makes me kind of look bad, right? What is this about? She's worried about being judged. So here I want to get some clarification first, say, how does it make you look bad? Well, it gives the wrong impression. Also, I'm more vulnerable to my desires if I know there's privacy. So here I reframe it. I say, it only gives you the wrong impression if you judge yourself. I don't. And if there's a connection, what's so bad about giving into your desires? Because I'm tired of giving into my desires only to be deserted. So she's been pumped and dumped, right? So I say being abandoned is never fun, but that's not caused by sex. I'm over one night stands looking for someone I can be close with, not just physically, but also emotionally. Someone that's not judgmental, but definitely if it goes that route, I want it to be good. And it's only going to be good if I know we're going to see each other again. She's like, I thought I was done too. I'm easily fooled, more than I thought. And funny thing about this girl is actually after we hooked up a few times, she kind of disappeared on me. But anyway, I say, I won't fool you if you don't fool me. And here I use a takeaway. If you're too nervous, I understand. I'm over cautious. That's how I put it. And this is the text that really puts me over the edge. I use some sarcasm here. You want me to sign a contract that I won't abandon you or something? She's like, LMAO, no. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I wouldn't force anyone to anything. I'm just being negative, lol. Already prepared for the worst. I'm like, yeah, I've noticed that. But that's going to make anything impossible, even good things. When you've been through the shit show I have, you probably would be a bit closed off yourself. But I see your point. I understand. How about we just split a bottle of wine on my romantic balcony, no expectations? Okay, that's fine with me. Sounds very peaceful. However, I can't tonight, blah, blah, blah. So it's tomorrow night, okay. And we wound up meeting up. And actually, this chick was like super DTF. She didn't even wear panties, right? It's funny how she's talking about like how she's like, oh, I want to be really cautious. Like within 10 minutes, she was like making out with me. We had sex probably within 15, 20 minutes. It was actually really, really good. And we had a lot of chemistry. But yeah, ironically, after we hooked up a few times and she did a video, we kind of just fell apart. And that was mostly on her. But anyway, you guys can see the point here. Just me being non-judgmental here takes the whole thing from her flaking completely to her coming over being ready for sex. Trigger number 3, being non-needy. So girls don't want to have sex with a guy that's desperate for it, that really wants it. That's just a massive turnoff. And that's what most guys are. They're kind of thirsty for pussy. Girls prefer a guy who just doesn't care if you have sex or not, right? He's sexual, right? He has sexual authority. He's not judgmental, but he's not desperate for it at all. He's very just having fun. He's self-amused. He doesn't care if he gets laid or not because he has massive abundance anyway. I'm going to show you guys a really good example of this. So this is Austin Summers. He's at the AVN, which is an adult film expo. And can you imagine what most guys are, these porn expos, when they talk to the porn stars they've been jerking off to? They're probably really needy. They're like, oh, it's okay if I take a photo. Oh my God, I'm so excited, blah, blah. Notice what Austin does instead. That winds up actually getting him the porn star's phone number.
Okay, so there's some blind people in my audience. Describe what your looks like to a blind person. Who has a better butt though, me or you? Do you deadlift?
I mean, I don't know how much, but like I do.
Mike, she deadlifts. You squat? Are you on the squat life? I love it. I don't know why I like it.
And yeah, notice how non-needy he is, right? He's just having fun. He's just fucking around, and that's a very attractive vibe. And here you can see kind of how the whole thing with this girl ends.
You're gonna have to put it in 1561. Con mucho gusto, señorita.
That was cute.
And I think this is just a really good example of not being needy when you're talking to a girl in real life. But let me show you how this looks like over text and how not being needy can actually be the thing that gets you laid. So let's take a look at this example, right? This is a girl I was texting when I was in Romania. Actually, this was 4 or 5 years ago. And, I'm just trying to get the meetup with her, and she's just being elusive, right? She's giving me half-ass answers. So this is kind of, after some of that already. So I'm like, it'd be fun to meet in 3D though. She's like, I think 4D is the thing now, you gotta keep up. So she's just kind of fucking around. So I start fucking around too, right? I say, sounds exciting. She's like, yeah, we live in an interesting time. So I'm like, so, drinks? I think I will go to a party tonight. Again, here I could have easily fucked it up if I got desperate or needy. I've been like, oh, come on, let's hang out, please, blah, blah, blah. I just say, well, I tried. And notice how things change. She says, you did. I just say, solution, question mark? She says, I'm not a big fan of alcohol, to be honest. So here I try a risky strategy that I used to do back in the day. I say, well, we could skip the cliche small talk and go straight to the part where we smash hard. And she's like, I need to click with someone before smashing hard. There was no clicking so far. But notice how she's pretty receptive, right? So I say, duh, we haven't even met yet. She's like, true, but what if we don't click? Let's have an old-fashioned dinner. I say, only one way to find out. Let's do it, say 9 p.m. And here basically she says, can we skip dinner and meet for drinks instead? I'm like, hell yeah. And so I had to meet her in public, but after about an hour of building sexual tension, showing that I'm non-judgmental, not needy, I was able to pull her back to my place and we had sex. And then she went out to party afterwards, right? So you can see how this, just me being not needy here, was the thing that turned this around. Let's take a look at another example. And this one's gonna be a little bit more in your face. So here we go. Basically, this is a girl that had been really, really flaky, and she's just being annoying. So this is not just a girl flaking once. She had flaked multiple times before this. So she's like, what are we doing? I'm like, having a drink on my rooftop, swing by around 9. She's like, can I be there at 8:30? I'm like, yeah. Where do I go? I sent her my address. And then she says this, I became lazy, ha, 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 ha. Now here, what most guys would do is they would try to convince her, like, no, come on, don't be lazy. I'm gonna give you a nice massage. They would try to convince her. I do the opposite. I say, good luck. Your lack of respect for my time is a turnoff. Notice how this turns things around. She says, okay, I'm sorry. I say, final chance. She says, okay, I'll go. I'm waiting for Uber. And then she comes over and we hook up, right? The full Larry report is on my website. So yeah, these are two situations where me being not needy was the thing that pushed things over the edge. Trigger number 4. Building sexual tension. This is like the glue that holds everything together. So with enough sexual tension, you can take a girl who's not that type of girl and she never does this and have her have sex with you eagerly on the first night because she just literally can't resist all the sexual tension. So let me show you guys exactly what this looks like and feels like.
Probably would start building sexual tension. So as we're getting closer, there's more tension. Mm-hmm. So then I might amplify another way. Like you said, light touches.
Light touches.
Yeah, and then, but not really even acknowledging it, just keeping the conversation going. Hey, doing this.
Yes.
Now, obviously not with you, but hypothetically speaking, if I was with another girl, I might push the hair back a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, just not too much.
So really, what am I doing here? Just 3 things. Number 1 is having that laser strong direct eye contact. That builds a lot of sexual tension. Number 2 is light touches. And number 3, probably the biggest thing, is my tonality. I'm very much slowing down my speech. I'm speaking a lot more deliberately and seductively, very differently than when I'm speaking in these videos. And that goes a long way to building that sexual tension. Now let's see how this clip ends.
And then take her hands. Handcuff them. Thank you for a wet willy.
So obviously I'm kind of fucking with her at the very end, but this is actually one of my most popular videos. This is a girl I've hooked up with quite a few times. We actually wound up doing some adult content together later on. But yeah, you can check out this video. It's got 5 million views, so it's definitely got to be a good one. I cover sexual tension quite extensively, but it's something that's very important to do. If you don't build sexual tension on a date, right, the girl really is not going to be that motivated to sleep with you unless she went into the day with like, I'm 100% going to get laid. So you got to build sexual tension. And when you combine that with not being needy, with not being judgmental and sexual authority, you're going to have the situations where you can sleep with girls who are very conservative, girls who never do this, have them do the freakiest, kinkiest shit with you that you could imagine. Right, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys are finding the content on this channel valuable, all I ask that you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell for notification, because otherwise you're probably going to miss a lot of my videos with the way the YouTube algorithm is. Also, you're probably thinking, well, Alex, what girls am I supposed to practice this on, right? I need more dates. This is where my free Tinder guide comes in. Link is going to be in the description. It's going to show you how to get good photos so you start getting matches, how to write the kind of bio that's going to make the hook the girls, and also text games so you take those girls and get them out on dates so you can practice everything you've learned in this video. Link in description. Thank you guys, and until next time.